just pick something here quickly.
And Austin, before when you were sharing, your audio was a little muffled.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it got cut off.
We were so intrigued, but we missed a bit of it.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So
let's
put the question again. Austin, you wanted to know about healing and enlightenment. Which one is first?
Yeah, well, more like healing versus because you talked about like the true self in terms of like removing the mask, and that kind of feels like one thing. Of course, with healing, that is like a result, right? But for a lot of people, I feel like they have to do like separate like healing work in terms of releasing like emotions and stuff, you know.
Okay, so exactly. So okay, here is the thing. These are different ways, like I was explaining earlier, different ways for people to deal with certain things, right? For example, to become enlightened, everybody here is already enlightened. But what I just say right now, it doesn't sound the same way for everyone. When I say enlightened, everybody hears something different, right? Because of where they are. So we can have everybody on the call here. Somebody can be living in despair, for example. When I say enlightened, they hear it through the despair. Okay? Somebody can be in inner love, for example. And when I say enlightenment, they hear to inner love. That's why when I talk sometimes and people say love is everything, for example. But love is under, enlightenment. Enlightenment is, for example, when people say love, they give flower, for example, a lot of people think this is love. Okay? Or when you tell them, I love you, they think this is love. But love, you don't have to tell somebody every day that you love them to love them, right? We know that. We can be quiet. Maybe we don't have to be happy, like smiley face, or like say that we are happy. We don't have to have a mean face to be happy. You can be happy without smiling, right? So it's different for everybody. It depends where the person is at. Now, once you remove the person completely, that's enlightenment. That's who you really are. So that person right now, that means there is no person in you anymore. That means like you are dead. I mean, your person is dead. That's why Vladimir is dead. So there is no Vladimir. If you're talking to me right now, you're talking to I. Okay? That's why they talk on the Bible, they talk about be born again, for example. That means you have to die to the world. For example, if you're Austin and I say Justin and that hurts your feeling, Austin needs to die. Nothing should be a barrier for you. So you have to be free from everything. You have to be free for all names, label. For example, we had a Zoom before once. Somebody sent like some genital parts, that should have shook anybody. That should have we just understand, okay, we forgive them. I forgive you for doing this. This is not the place to do it, right? So, and people react differently to stuff like that, right? Like if somebody call me or tell me do something, but that's another, way, because they're not gonna be able, to do certain things. So that's kind of like the way it is to work with healing from where you are, right? Until you understand that you're already healed. There's no healing needed. It is what it is, right? Everything is perfect the way they are. Even, I'm gonna take you to a level, like, I don't know, some people might not understand what I'm saying. There is no death. Death is an illusion. And nothing is happening. You believe we're talking right now on a call on Zoom, but it's not true. There is no call happening. Okay? the past, the present, and the future is the same thing.
Right.
Now, if you use the mind to understand what I just say here, it's gonna be like really, really tough. The mind cannot understand this. So you have to like transcend the mind. That's why transcendental meditation is very important, you know, transcend the mind, transcend the body, out of body experience where you leave the body completely. Okay, so you become presence. Okay, and even in presence, you're not enlightened yet, even at a level of presence. No? And presence is very, 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 very high. So on the planet right now, I was watching something the other day. On the planet right now, there are about 60 people who are fully enlightened.
Sorry, how many people?
60.
60. Oh,
Mm.
that's not a lot.
Out of 7.5 billion plus people, you have only 60 people.
Yeah.
How do you know? How did you find that information?
You can see them. These people who are enlightened, you can see them everywhere. If you can see. If you have eyes to see, you will see them. And you will hear about them. Because the way they speak is it's not from this planet.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you clarified the levels of enlightenment in terms of like distinguishing like very high states like presence versus full enlightenment versus love, and how people can even filter their perception of enlightenment from their own state, like despair versus inner love or whatever. Does anybody else want to add?
How long have you been having these get-togethers, and who started this?
You did.
Love it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, there is that the concept of oneness. We are all one, so we are all started it, right? Yeah.
Thanks.
This is the second Zoom call that I've been on with some of these people, and
Oh, really?
definitely such a nice group today. Like everyone, I can just tell like is very in tune and very like eager. They're like searching. They're like pushing hard to elevate, which is it's amazing. I'm myself included. But I find that for me, the biggest, I'm going to say, sort of roadblock that was within me was that I always search. I always try to get to the next thing. I always try to check off things off. I try to, like, if I do A, B, C, then I'll be enlightened, and that's what I'm searching for. But I read a book this morning, that said to come back to who you really are, you just really need to surrender. And
yes. Yes.
Jaylene, sister.
Yes.
So
Wow.
write that word down. Surrender.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To write that down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I really love the energy you have going on here. It's great.
It is.
It is to surrender. May I chime in? May I?
Sure.
Oh, from a very young age, I wandered the streets. Who are you? What are you? Who am I? Who is the guy next to me? Who is the woman in front of me? Who is the woman in the mirror? I continued to ask myself as I met people along the way. I went into buildings. I wanted to hear what people were believing, what they were trusting in, who were they were getting to know, what is it all about? In 2017, they told me I was going to die of terminal cancer.
Oh.
I was okay because I knew I wasn't going to die. I knew I wasn't going to die. I knew that wasn't the plan. I just felt it. I felt it with everything in my being. How, why? Where did this come from? The doctors look at me. Well, are you okay? You maybe you need help. Maybe you need some assistance mentally. Perhaps you're in denial. Perhaps we need to get you some help. I knew I had all the help I needed. I knew who I was. I knew that if I only had one more day, that I had one more day. That I had one more day. I had one more to say hello to the guy next to me. I had one more to say thank you to anyone that was super cool to me and like shifted my vibration. I had one more to say, you know what? You rocked it, girl. You rocked it because you had a real crappy life and lots of terrible circumstances. But you stand strong. I heard what they said to me. I heard what they said to me. And I got up and said to myself, oh, you can do better. You can do better. And when I couldn't do better, I surrendered. I surrendered. I got down on my knees and said, please help me. Please help me. I spoke out loud. I said, please help me. Help me, help me, help me understand, and I will listen. I will listen. This is where we get stuck. Where does the healing begin? Where does the healing begin? It begins by removing the mask. It begins by being stripped down. It begins by saying, I am all of these things. I've done all of these things. I confess. I confess I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I've used curse words. I've done horrible things. I've gone into dark places. I've grown. I have grown from it. I am better for it. This is where healing begins. It begins with saying it's okay to not be okay. Enlightenment, if this is a word that you wish to resonate with, allow yourself just to be honest with who you are in everything you do, in everyone you talk to, with everyone you talk to. What is the conversation? Does it make you uncomfortable? Good. Good. Let it make you uncomfortable and then allow it to shift you into a beautiful place. All good is uncomfortable to begin with.
Mm.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that last line. Yeah.
Yes. All good is uncomfortable to begin with.
That's great.
Yeah.
All good is an illusion.
Mm. Can you elaborate on that?
It is what it sounds like.
I understand.
Mm. Does this mean, are you talking about in terms of the duality between good and bad, or perceptions of it?
Can someone help Austin?
There is no good and bad.
Mm.
It is all good. All things are good, Austin. Remove the bad.
There's no
Remove the
thing.
bad, for it is everything that you create within here. We get in here.
Mm.
You are here. You are beautiful. You are lighting up my screen. You are glory. Look at the smiles. Feel the energy. Feel the flow. Remember, recognize why you are here, how you got here. How can bad be good? How can bad be good? People pass away. Why do people pass away? They've passed away. Well, that can't be good. Have they passed away? Are they gone? Do you still feel them? Do you remember them? Do you celebrate them? Do you recognize them? This is so, all things can be turned into something beautiful. We are the ones that have turned them into something bad. All words are beautiful. Every word that exists. And throw one at me. Every word that exists is beautiful. Within the deepest understanding of what it is and where it comes from.
Jaylene, I have a question for you. When you said you found yourself surrendering, you said you were like kneeling down and you just surrendered, and you said, I have done all these things, but I am asking for for you to take over. Was there a shift? Did that moment like change your being? Was it a single moment, or was it more?
The moment allowed me to recognize the being.
Okay.
The moment allowed me to see that I am simply a vessel. That to surrender is to believe, to know with everything in your being that you don't have to do or try or seek or look for anything. You are everything. This is where we get lost, is we are looking for something else. We're seeking something else or someone else or the answer to, or how do we? We don't, we just do. We just do, just be you, just be magnificent, just be glorious, just be honest, just be truthful, just, if it comes out of your mouth and it feels wrong, acknowledge, ooh, that felt a little bit funny, and allow it to flow. Allow yourself to embrace everything magnificent about who you are and what you are.
Wow.
Yeah, I just wanted to pose another line of thought for that, perhaps a question. I read somewhere there was this one guy on a Facebook post. He said, most spiritual paths, so-called spiritual paths, are paths of perfection or trying to improve and perfect the human. It's some far off goal, right? And so what he said was, you can call it a path of perfection if you like, but don't call it a spiritual path. So the point is like, spirituality, your true self is only now, and it can't be anywhere else. I think that was great.
Thank you.
That's perfect.
Are you, Austin?
Mhm.
Are you experiencing that right now?
Right now,
Mm. Your
I would
body.
say that if I'm being perfectly honest, like I do feel my true self, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I am not, for my personal conception of enlightenment, I'm not where I want to be. And
Who is that?
the one that wants to be there,
Yeah.
I would say the perfectionist side. I do have that. So
I have found it to be very powerful. The words that we speak over ourselves, we must be very careful.
Mhm.
We must be very careful in what we share over who we are and what we are. I am not there yet. I am there. I am there. I am in the process. I am willing. I am wanting. I am eager to. For I know.
Mhm.
For I believe. For I am.
Mm.
Allow yourself to be, Austin. Allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to say over you.
No, this is different. Sorry.
And Austin, as
Yep.
someone who struggled with perfectionism and people pleasing for
Mm.
my entire life,
Yeah.
I hear you. And what I had to do is realize that I am perfect. We all are perfect. So there's no need for perfectionism. And where my perfectionism was coming from was conditioning on how I got love.
Mm.
But I am love. So I don't need to seek it from external sources.
Mm.
So I'm just sharing my experience it as a former perfectionist and people pleaser of what I had to realize to just become and just to be and just to love.
Thank you, Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
How do we come to these realizations? How does one come to these realizations personally? I share out loud a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I speak out loud. What do you believe? Who do you believe in? Whatever it is. Some call it prayer. When I share, I connect. There is a spiritual connection that you feel, that you know when you hear yourself out loud, you hear yourself. You begin to hear yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal every day, to continue to share out loud and to hear yourself. Once this starts happening, it ripples into a beautiful journey, a journey of, did I say that? Or did somebody else say it? Who is communicating through me?
Wow. Oh, sorry.
Right?
Love the laughs.
You're absolutely accurate.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be a grandmother, a dead grandmother. but you don't know it.
What do you mean?
Because your brain and body are possessed by her presence.
Mm. It's kind of like channeling.
Yeah.
When you open your mouth, it is her who speaks. It is the same as for anger, jealousy, fear, greed, all that stuff. When you open your mouth, who speaks? What speaks? Jillian is right. You have to observe. Always observing the mind. Never leave it a moment alone. Otherwise, it will control the mouth. It will control the eyes. It will control the ears.
Yeah.
It will control the body.
Yeah. That's another great point about sometimes in this path, like even if we want to, let's say we're not seeking and you just want to live from your true self with all your flaws and whatnot, you do have to remain vigilant about even that sounds like, you know, within the context of the true self, it does feel off, obviously, right? Because you're not seeking for anything. And yet because you're trying to be in a surrendered state, however, I think that lends into the next question of going back to whether enlightenment is a state of perfection. Like if you look at people like the Buddha or Jesus Christ, they have these principles, like for example, like detachment from like all sensual desire, right? That's a very, like if we look at into in the context of, let's say, 21st century ideals, like, you know, capitalism and whatnot, in our day-to-day way of life, where our senses are constantly bombarded with advertisements and TV and media and all that, you know, like is enlightenment that state of detachment and renunciation, or should it just be our having access to our true self? Like, you know, I think that's where there isn't a lot of discussion and room for debate, where some people will say, no, that's enlightenment isn't just the true self, it's balls to the wall, like Buddha level, like full transcendence of the human. And that's where a lot of people do hold that view.
What's your view?
For me, I kind of stand in the, I'd say I kind of stand in the middle in terms of having that true self. For one, I was raised in a Theravada Buddhist household, and so, you know, ever since I was young, I always had these stories of the Buddha, how he rigorously practiced to like overcome his human desires, you know. And usually, like, that's how enlightenment, especially in like Asian countries, is presented, is this like, and they go through some really, really, really hardcore practices. Like, you may have heard of like insight meditation, Vipassana. They have these like Vipassana meditations are like very popular nowadays. But the level that can go in terms of some monks, they would like meditate on corpses. Like they would try to analyze their body and like look at every bone and tendon to see that, oh, the body is actually repulsive, that there is nothing attractive about the human body. So like all sense of like, for example, sexual desire, they try to completely eradicate that through like insight meditation. So yeah, I think that's such a huge question of, you know, what do you want enlightenment to be as well? Yeah.
Do you guys find this meeting healing?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
For me, I'm getting answers to questions.
Mm-hmm.
Austin?
Yeah, for me, I think I'm really glad that all of you have you know, really emphasize the importance of whatever you choose to follow. Always stay in your true self, be grounded, accept all your flaws. And that's something that, you know, I'm really glad to be reminded of. And these sessions really help.
Amanda?
For me, it's healing because I get to share my journey and I get to listen to others. And I am reminded that I am perfect and beautiful and enlightened and everything already. That's who I am. Now it's the conditioning that I need to remove, and to be amongst energies of others that believe that is a healing space, and we've all held space for each other today with the intention of helping everyone. And so therefore it's a beautiful healing space, and I'm honored to share and listen.
If we were to have another meeting like this, would you, all of us, will we invite other people to join this platform and share our energies, our presence, our state of awareness, our state of peace, joy, compassion, love?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you seen this movie? Yes, man.
Yes.
No.
Watch that.
Movie Yes Man?
Yes, man. Jim Carrey.
Watch.
Have you seen it yet, Austin?
I've seen a documentary called The Yes Men. Yeah. Not Jim Carrey though.
This is the Yes group.
Yes. I love it.
And
Let's share this. Go ahead, Vlad.
I have to remind you that what you're doing right now, what is happening right now, the most powerful things in the galaxy. I would say in the universe, but I don't think we're in the universe yet. I want to see everybody right there, right? But we already leave the planet Earth. We're already in a higher dimension right now. You know, we're in galactic self. You know? So it's up to each and every one of you to hold that treasure that you already found within you. Okay. So people out there, if you watch the news, if you like talk to anybody, you know, listen, and like Jalen say, observe, you know, and you will see what they're up to, what they are doing. You don't have to be a scientific, you don't have to be like a smart guy, you know. In fact, you don't have to do any research. The fastest way, I'm gonna say this right now, the fastest way to enlightenment is to drop the books. Stop reading stuff. Yeah? Stop doing all this research like the Bible under your arm and no. Okay? Because you don't want to fool your head. You want to empty your head. And people say mindfulness. Why would I fool my mind? I want to empty my mind.
That's a good point.
Okay, so, but the people who say mindfulness, sometimes they know what they say. Somebody says something that is good, and then other people don't understand it, and then it just going in a different direction. So understand that A lot of other people are suffering right now. They are in pain. Okay. A lot of people, not because somebody has a nice, beautiful house or beautiful partner or beautiful clothes, that means that they're not suffering. Somebody might be about to commit suicide. Okay. Somebody might be about to do something really bad. And you can say hi. You know, like I met I'm gonna change your name. Hey, before I say that, let me say something. Today, this is a day of freedom. Okay? If you've never been free in your life, today you are free to choose a name. Choose a name. You know, if they call you, okay, somebody call you Austin. Okay? Today, make your declaration. I'm not Austin. Okay, I'm not that name. I'm gonna call myself whoever name you want. My name is Lord. Okay? I'm outrageous. You know, because they think like I'm a little black guy or whatever they have in their head, you know, like to, you know, put their whatever insecurity on me, right? It's not gonna happen, right? So you have to decondition. It's tough, right? It's a tough system. Okay, somebody tell you, okay, you are this, you say I'm not that. Okay, my name is Mary. My name is Jesus Christ, or my name is whatever you can say, you know. And be careful. We have to be smart. We have to be wise. That's why wisdom and the chart. After the call, we'll be sending everybody the chart of spirituality. It's not like I said, like we're not gonna read a lot of books, but this is like you can look at this. But you know, some people did some work, and it works. You know, it might be helpful. So we'll send it to everybody, so you can see from the bottom there is the first dimension, the second dimension, the third dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension, all the dimension until you go into enlightenment, and then higher level of enlightenment until you go into infinite, you know, infinite consciousness, higher level stuff, right? So you have that, and you can use it as kind of like a something, right? You can like look at, okay, am I in forgiveness right now? I'm gonna be in inner light. I'm gonna be in inner, and you go from there. And then you can have somebody in the group kind of like explain certain things to you if you don't understand for the time being until you're fully in control. You don't need any master. I'm not your master because I'm already you. If I'm your master, I'm my own master and you're my master. So it's a mellow, right? It's a mixed up, right? So people need healing. People need to be enlightened. People need love. People need compassion. People need kindness. And we have it in abundance. We have all these things in abundance. Why are we going to keep all these things for ourselves? These are not things that we're going to have to spend money to buy. You know, it doesn't cost any money to be kind to someone, to be kind to nature, to be kind to the trees. You know, it doesn't cost any money.
Awesome.
So
It looks like we
Healing.
have 1 minute left on this call, so
Yeah.
just a heads up.
Let's invite some people in the next meeting, whenever that is. Amanda, you schedule that whenever you can.
Great.
More healing.
I was gonna talk about
Peace.
Naledi, but I'm gonna continue with the conversation of Naledi next time. Okay.
Okay.
Naledi, you wanna say something? You have the last minute.
Well, I didn't say a whole lot this evening, but I am very much liking the conversations of people exploring and trying to understand in their own ways how to get to a greater sense of peace, really.
Amazing.
So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Wonderful.